Hello. I wanted to just really quickly talk about these three images that you have in your lecture for Republican motherhood. Um, what you're doing here is you're thinking about how in this period, um, because historians made this term up, Republican motherhood. They looked at sermons and songs and paintings to see how women were represented and came up with this concept. So think about when you're looking at these images, how women are represented. In the first image, we only see a mother and her two and children who are identified as her sons. There is no other spouse. The focus is on her and her role as mother. Um, Note that she looks kind of fancy to us. Like, we don't wear our hair like this or wear dresses like this, but at the time she's pretty understated in terms of how she is presenting herself. She's not wearing lots of finery. She doesn't have lots of jewelry on. Her clothes are, again, they look fancy to us, but they're kind of subdued. Same with her hairstyle. So she's reflecting kind of just a sense of kind of republicanism in that way, that she's kind of like, equal and not like an aristocrat. And then notice her children. They're kind of encompassed in her. She's got them in her embrace. She's holding them, encircling them. Arm around one, other one kind of leaned in. So clearly this is her world and she's in charge. I'm sure you all, right, when you are taking care of children or raising your children, this is what you look like when you do that, right? I mean, I know I certainly always, have my hair styled and my clothes looking nicely presented in this way. My children, or my child, behaves and sits quietly on my lap as these children are. So that's another thing to think about in terms of like starting to set up standards of motherhood and how that's perceived. We'll see more of that when we look at images a little bit later. Now, the second image, this one's got a little bit more like symbolism to it. Again, we have a woman who is supposed to represent liberty, right? Liberty in the form of the goddess of youth. She's a goddess. She is she's sustaining like the country, right? Offering sustenance there to the eagle. There are chains that are broken here at her feet. And again, the thing to think about in this image, well, all three of these images, but the second and third image that are reflections of like liberty and, liberty being represented in the form of a woman. But notice in each of these images, liberty is also represented in the form of a white woman. So who has liberty in this new republic? Who that emphasis of freedom is on in each of these instances. Even though this third image, what's this one called? Liberty Display in the Arts and Sciences. This was probably an early abolitionist piece. And the idea is that like liberty or education is being bestowed in kind of very patronizing way to formerly enslaved people. Again, the emphasis here on liberty is the association of liberty with white people, and in this instance, showing liberty as a white woman. A kind of a contradiction of the Revolutionary era, as you're going to see at the bottom of the lecture when you look at the stories of Elizabeth Freeman and Ona Judge, right? In terms of who liberty is intended for. So you'll think about those ideas a little bit later in the lecture as well. But again, back to these images and what they're suggesting about that concept of Republican motherhood is it's the role of women to provide that sustenance and that protection for the country and for the next generation. So this third image really speaks to that other part of Republican motherhood. If women are supposed to raise their sons to be good Republican citizens in the Republic, the only way women can raise sons to be citizens in the Republic, like as strong citizens is if you give them an education. And so that's kind of the aha of Republican motherhood, because initially this doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like, we've seen women as mothers before, but the difference is we're acknowledging women as mothers. We're highlighting that role, elevating it. But then also, if women are gonna do this well, you're gonna have to give them an education. And so, as we're going to see, it's not going to be the education that boys are going to get, but it's going to be some education. And then here again, in this image, this third image, she's surrounded by things that we would associate with education, right? She's got a globe, she's got some books. Looks like there's some art implements in there too. So again, this idea that women are going to raise their sons to be good citizens in the Republic. In order to do that, you need to give them an education. All right. If you've got any questions, be sure and send those to me via email, or again, you've got that discussion board that's open through the whole semester. You could throw those up there. I hope you all are doing well. Take care.